Okay, so tonight we want to work a little bit more on putting things from standard form, which is this. Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a has to be a positive coefficient, so that's 4. B has to be just a coefficient, a whole number, and so does c. And we have to get it into the slope-intercept form. So we have to get it to y equals mx plus b. The reason being, here we don't know what the slope is or the y-intercept. When we have it in this form, we can say the slope is negative 2/3 and the y-intercept is 8. So we have to get it from here to here. And this has a skill that we have to use all year long. It's something we're going to use a lot, and it's something we have to really do a good job at doing. Okay, so we're going to look over here. This again is an ax plus by equals c form. I want to get it so just this y remains on the left hand side. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to get x to come over to the other side. So I'm going to look at this 3x and I say, what can I do to this 3x to make it equal 0? Well, if I know 3x, if I subtract 3x, because the opposite of positive 3x is negative 3x, that will become 0. Okay? Now remember, and this is an often missed mistake, once I get this to equal 0, I'm left with negative 5y here. Don't forget the negative in front of the 5y. We bring this equals down, and because I subtracted 3x there, I must do it on the right side of the equals also. And as we've discussed in class, these are not like terms. If this 25 had an x next to it, well, then I could subtract these, but they don't. So, and I want it into slope-intercept form, so I just write negative 3x, because I know the number before the x, the coefficient, is the slope. And this is a positive 25, so this is going to do plus 25. Okay? So the first thing we do is get the x over to the right-hand side of the equals. So we said the opposite of 3x is negative 3x, and then we just wrote this out because these aren't like terms. And I put the x first because I know that that is the slope. The slope is the number before the x, so I like that first. It doesn't have to be, but it makes it easier. Alright, so now I'm left with negative 5 times y. And so we know the inverse of negative 5 times y is negative 5 divided by negative 5. So we're going to divide by negative 5 here. And I know negative 5 divided by negative 5 gives me a positive 1y. Okay? Then this is also a common mistake. When we divide by negative 5, we need to divide everything by negative 5. So I'm going to divide the negative 3x by 5 and the 25 by negative 5. So this 3 does not divide by 5 nicely, and because we know this is the slope, because it's the coefficient in front of x, we just leave it as a fraction. And we know a negative over negative gives us a positive, so I'm just going to rewrite this as 3/5 x. Bring down my plus. And then 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. So I can leave my equation like this, or if I want to make it look a little bit nicer, I would write 3/5 x, and then I can just change this to minus 5. Okay? And then I know that 3/5 is the slope, and negative 5 is the y-intercept. So now, when I graph this, I know that this is my negative 5. That's my y-intercept. So here's the y. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put a point at the negative 5. And then my slope tells me how to get to the next point. So this is the y and this is the x. And they're both positive. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 on the y. And I'm going to go up positive 5 on the x. So I'll just double check that. Up 1, 2, 3. And write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can draw my line, and as I said in class, lines have arrows and they should take up the entire graph. Okay? Okay, so let's look at one more example here together. So we'll just move that up. Here again, it's in standard form. We want it in slope-intercept form. So the only thing I want left standing is my y. So I'm going to get rid of this negative 4x. So we know the opposite of negative 4x is positive 4x. So that gives me 0. I'm left with a positive 9y on that side. So I'll do 9y. I'll bring down this equal sign here. And since I added 4 here, I'm going to have to add 4x here. And I know that these are not alike, so I'm going to write that 4x first because I know that coefficient 4 is my slope, or will be my slope. And then I have that 45, which is going to be my y-intercept. So again, we're always going to end up doing some adding or subtracting first and multiplying, dividing second. So I added the 4x. Now I need to get rid of the 9. So I'm going to divide by 9. But remember, we divide everything by 9. So I divide that x by 9 and that 45 by 9. So now I know 9 divided by 9 gives me 1y, or just y. 4 does not divide by 9, so I'm just going to leave it 4/9 x. And then I know that 45 divided by 9 is 5. So we're going to take this and graph it again. So again, this tells me where to start. This is the y-intercept. Here's my y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is my slope. That's y over x, positive y, positive x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, if I ran out of room up here, I could do the opposite. If you have negative 4 over negative 9, that's still positive 4/9. So I could go down negative 4 and over negative 9. And if you look, that still is within my slope. And then we're going to draw it like that. Okay. So I want you to practice a little bit on your own here tonight. So you have problems 10, 11, and 12. So I'm going to have you go ahead and just do, if you pay attention to all the way to the end of the video, I will know. I'm just going to have you do 10 and 11 here. That says 11. And if you're not paying attention, you might end up doing 12. Okay, so 2 of them, you need to solve them for y, and then you have to graph them. So solve and graph. And then we will go over these in the morning. We have a test on it on Thursday. Good night.